I'm sharing my screen. Okay, thank you, Furkan. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this ABP Studio talk session. Today, I will talk about the ABP Studio. I will introduce and explain the major features and also explain why we have built the ABP Studio. Before introducing the full agenda, I want to thank you, the team. Today we are with the ABP Studio core team developers. They are also here with us in the question and answer session. They will help your. They will answer your questions with me. However, in the presentation part, I will be the only one speaking. In addition to the team here, actually too many people worked on this ABP Studio. The project has been started in more than 2 years ago. Maybe the idea started more than 3 years ago, and many people had contribution to that, including developers, .NET developers, design team, DevOps, test team, platform integration team, and so on. But here we have just 5 developers as the core team building the ABP Studio. Let's start from the agenda first. I will first explain what is the ABP Studio and why we have built it. Actually, the whole talk is about that. However, I will start with a simple introduction to that topic. Most of the talk will be live demo, so good luck to me. I will start with explaining how to install the ABP Studio. Then I will explain the basics by showing how to create solutions using the ABP Studio. Then I will explain one of the main purposes of ABP Studio, which is building modular and complex solutions. Then we will continue with developing, running and monitoring like microservice or some kind of distributed systems. And also working with Kubernetes is another part of the distributed system part. And ABP Studio also can work well with ABP Suite tool. I will also introduce it and show how to simply work with that. I'm sure that most of the people are thinking, is the ABP Studio something similar to .NET Aspire? Short answer is no. Actually, there are, however, there are interacting points. Like there are some common points between these projects. I will explain this part and also the differences. I will mention about the roadmap of ABP Studio, licensing rules, and this is just an introduction and actually premiere for ABP Studio. And we will, in the next weeks, we will have many more events. I will talk about the next events a little bit. Okay, now let's start from what is the ABP Studio. By its definition, actually, it's a cross-platform desktop application that works on Mac and Windows machines for now, but also will work on Linux in the near future. It's a tool that we have built it to make it you use daily in your development to simplify or automate some tasks in your development, software development. It's not IDE. I mean, you don't write your application code directly. However, it helps your non-coding activities like running applications, maybe deploying, building, architecting, and so on. We will see all in this talk. So why we have built such a tool? For me, I'm developing software as a professional developer. I think about 20 years, and my programming history is much more. But from the university, it has been like 20 years. I'm making programming. The programming style requirements are always changing, and in the last years, especially building some complex applications like modular applications and also microservice applications become popular. So, but the actually tools we are using, just like similar to old days, it doesn't change it too much. So with ABP Studio, we try to fill the gap between current tools and current software development ecosystem and real life software development requirements. So let's start from the multi-application, multi-.NET solution systems. Like, for example, if you are building a complex system, it probably consists of not only single .NET solution, but multiple .NET solutions. Currently, there is no solution to manage multiple .NET solutions in a single view. So ABP Studio's one of the main purposes of ABP Studio is to create a single view of the system for this kind of for this kind of complex solutions. Actually, it's not only view, it's used to architect this kind of solutions. Like if you want to create a modular monolith solution, each module has its own .NET solution, maybe hosted in different GitHub repository, for example, developed in GitHub, different repositories developed by different teams and so on. However, ABP Studio give a full control of this system in a single view. Also microservice or distributed systems. The second reason also related to multi-application solutions or distributed systems or microservice systems, whatever you want to say. Okay, developing microservice system or deploying microservice systems has some solutions. However, in the development part, especially running multiple applications easily or developing a single applications while you are depending on many applications, many other services, it's not actually easy. So with ABP Studio, we want to create a single view again to create this kind of solutions and also run, browse, monitor, trace, or debug this kind of solutions much easier. Kubernetes is a very the de facto tool actually for deploying microservice or distributed solutions, and it's perfect for runtime environment. I mean production environment. However, for development, actually it's not easy. For the development side, it's not easy. With the ABP Studio, we try to create a system that you can easily develop solutions against Kubernetes. So you can seamlessly integrate your local environment, local computer, to a Kubernetes cluster, access its internal services. You can intercept traffic to run, debug, develop, test a service that is running in your local environment, in your local IDE. So let's start the demo part. Just 1 minute. Okay. Now I'm opening the ABP Studio. I have already installed it before, but for who wants to install the ABP Studio, they can just go to ABP.io website and find the platform menu, ABP Studio here. Maybe I can show with a zoom it. So in the ABP Studio page, you can just download for Windows or Mac OS operating systems. And also you can find the documentation on the ABP ABP documentation. So in the installation part, it also mentions about the pre-requirements and other installation steps. To be able to use ABP Studio, you need to create an ABP account first. You can just register from here if you haven't any account yet, or you can use your existing ABP.io account. So I'm just logging in with my own credentials. Now it's asking for me an organization because this is an organizational account and I have two organization. I will continue with the Holosoft organization. Now you see the main entrance UI of ABP Studio. Maybe I need to zoom a little bit. Just is it better?
Yeah, it's much better.
Yes, maybe with this one. I think it's also enough.
It's okay.
Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, once we have logged in, we can see our user or name in the user menu. So if you want to change your password or manage your profile, you can just click here or log out to log in for another account. We can create a new solution or open an existing solution. We have a recent solution tab here and some links to the latest community posts, so you can just get informed about what's happening with the ABP community website. Okay, good news that we also have a dark theme. I know most of the people like to use dark theme. However, in this presentation, I will go with the light theme because it's more visible in this kind of presentation, I believe. If it automatically updates itself, currently actually we are in the beta phase. That means you expect frequent upgrades, frequent new releases. So when we release a new version, it automatically downloads the new version and you can easily upgrade. If you want to manually check, you can always go to the About section or click the check for updates here. Now you see it's checked and we are using the latest version of the ABP Studio. Okay, let's start by creating a new solution. We can use here or file new solution. When we do that, we have different kind of startup solution templates. We can definitely start from the empty solution, which has almost nothing, or not almost nothing, nothing actually. We will create everything from scratch. However, it's best for this demo, it's best to go with a pre-built application startup template. A good news about the ABP Studio is it is designed as extensible from the first day. So in the future, you expect to see other people creating startup templates, and they are available in the ABP Studio new solution creation wizard. Here, we provide 3 pre-built solutions for now, which this one is simple single layer application template for not large scale applications, maybe I can say. This is layered application structure based on DDD patterns and practices. And finally, a microservice solution, which is used to create distributed solutions. In this presentation, I will show these 2, but for now, I will start from the application layered startup template. Okay, selecting that and go to the next page of the wizard. Just 1 minute. I will create a solution, name it EasyCRM, acme.easycrm. You can use a single namespace or multiple namespace or even another part. So ABP Studio will use this as a root namespace for your whole solution. We can continue. There are many user interface options as before. MVC UI, Angular UI, many kind of Blazor UI, including WebAssembly, server, web app, and so on. Even possible to create MyUI Blazor hybrid applications, or if you want to create an API solution, just select the No UI option. Let's start with MVC UI. You have basically 3 options here, but it will be 2 actually. Basic theme and Leptonix theme. Leptonix theme is the default and recommended theme for real-life applications. It provides light, dark, and dim options. I will go with light. However, this is also dynamic. Your users can use both in the same application, but I will select this as default. Continue with the mobile framework selection. With this option, you can include a mobile application to your solution that is well integrated in the backend application. So you can easily start with your mobile application too. I will not select here. You see there are a lot of options. If you don't understand, just leave as default. Here it asks if I want to add a second application to my solution that is typically used for a landing page or public website, for my corporate website or product promotion website, and so on. I am selecting the public website. I don't want to include CMS Kit for now for less complexity. There are some optional modules. When we select, this comes pre-installed to our solution. I will skip Tyrant. I will select the entity framework core. It automatically creates the initial migration, and it also creates the database for us. I don't know if it is visible or not. We have comments about that. I think it's enough. Everyone can see, right? Maybe a little bit how it works. Okay. Create the initial migration. Let's continue with the database configuration. We can select one of the many options for database management system. I will select with the defaults. The application template also has Kubernetes configuration, so we can enable it for our own application. That's all. You can just, if you don't know, just go next, and it will create your solution in a short time. It actually started to create our solution, and also, 1 minute, and also making some background operation like installing client-side libraries, for example. It makes the npm install or yarn command for your solution, arranging some background tasks, and so on. We should wait in this part, but while we are waiting, just 1 minute, we can explore the solution. Here, the Solution Explorer has currently one solution here. Since we have created a layered application structure, we see many projects here. These are all CSproj like projects. We call it package in ABP Studio. We also imported some pre-built modules from the ABP platform, like GDPR, identity module, account module, or audit logging module, and so on. If we want, we can just explore the contents of the modules. If I right-click a module and select the load details, it also shows all the contents of this module. For example, I want to explore the aggregate rules defined in this module. You see this module has a tenant entity with multiple properties and methods, like an addition entity. In the application layer, it has subscription application service, for example, or tenant application service. So in this way, you can easily explore the pre-built application modules and try to understand what they provide. I will unload details now. And also, if we click one of the projects here, which is a part of our own application, I can see dependencies, so I can easily understand which NuGet packages are used by this. Just 1 minute. By this package, and also which projects are dependent. You see, application layer is depending on the application domain and also application contracts package, and so on. So the purpose of this Solution Explorer, build complex solutions and also easily understand the overview of the solution. If you want to write code, you should open this solution in your favorite IDE, like Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code, or Rider, or whatever you have installed. I'm opening with Visual Studio. While it's opening, I can also show some other stuff. I will explain most of the things in this presentation, but now I want to show the ABP CLI commands. You know, ABP CLI has some commands to automate some tasks for your solution. One of them are installing client-side libraries, or whenever we release a new version, you can upgrade the ABP packets in your solution. Or even if you want, you can use preview or nightly build versions of the ABP Studio for your solution. Or you can use .NET CLI commands on your solution to build, clean, restore, or graph build operations. So these are useful shortcuts, we think, for that's frequently needed in your daily development. So they are just shortcuts. I suppose the application, yes, the solution has already opened in the Visual Studio. So you see the web layer here, for example, you see the page in the application layer. Just make your development in Visual Studio or whatever IDE you want. That ABP Studio's purpose is not that. Okay. Final thing in this part. I also want to execute the application in ABP Studio and just navigate the user interface. So in the next parts, I will fully explain this feature. However, for now, I can just run the application with a single click. You see it has multiple applications. There is a web application, which is the essential application of our solution, and a public website. I think I need to build it first. Okay, I'm building the solution first because it hasn't built yet fully. I can start all, or I can first start the Docker dependencies. Docker dependencies item actually runs Redis and some other infrastructure services that is shared by other applications. It warns me that it doesn't build it first, because we think for a multiple application solutions, you don't want to build every time for every application. It will get time. So when we run the application, I can just right-click and browse the application from the ABP Studio without needing an external browser or any kind of application. Okay, I'm logging in the application. You see, actually the solution has almost empty, like you don't see too much code, just configuration code and some importing or reference code. However, when you open the application UI, you will see a lot of menu items here. All of them are coming from pre-built ABP platform modules and use it as NuGet package or npm package. So for the identity management UI, for example, we have a role management page. We can create editor role, for example, make it public, and so on. We can set permissions of this role, and so on. User management, like for SaaS applications, we have tenant management system, language management, some settings for two-factor authentication, reCAPTCHA. There are many features. All of these features are very common for every kind of applications. So that's why they are included by default. However, you see that we could exclude most of the modules while creating our solution. So this is the base for your application. Now, until this point, I have explained the startup templates in ABP Studio. As you see, there are many options based on your custom requirements. We also explored the modules and their dependencies. I have explained some CLI command shortcuts, and we run the application without needing an external browser. In the next slide, next part, I will show how to build complex applications. But first, I want to explain the components of an ABP Studio solution. As I said before, one of the main purposes of ABP Studio is to control multiple .NET solutions in a single application. So, for example, in a large solution, for example, microservice system, we may have ordering service, basket service. They all have their own .NET solution. So when you open that basket service, for example, you only see the projects related to basket service. But a .NET solution actually is called as a module in ABP Studio because it's a module or it's a part of a larger solution. So we call it as ABP Studio solution. So one ABP Studio solution contains one or multiple .NET solutions. Also, a .NET solution consists of multiple .NET projects, like CSproj files, each project is called as ABP Studio package in ABP Studio. So package is more general term, but these projects can be published as NuGet package, for example. So we call it package. So when we say ABP Studio package, it's mostly related to a .NET project. When we say ABP Studio module, it's mostly related to a .NET solution. And when we say ABP Studio solution, it doesn't match any .NET or Visual Studio term because there is no such a concept in .NET. That's why we have built such a solution. Let's continue with the building modular solutions part. Now I will start by installing a pre-built application module. And that means your solution, of course, can have multiple modules. Like if you are building a modular monolith, for example, solution, you will have multiple modules. However, there are also some modules pre-built by the ABP team for you or contributed by the community. To see all the list of all modules, you can go to platform and module section. You see there are many pre-built application modules like chat module, CMS kit module, file management module, like SaaS module. There are many modules for different kind of applications. When you install one of these modules into your solution, all you need to do is right-click to import section of your solution, of your actually main solution module. When we do that, we can import a module from our current solution. There is no module here, so we don't see any. We can find another module in our local file system, or we can just install pre-built application modules, as I said before. I will install the file management module, for example, the version 8.2.1, because my other modules are with this version. It's best to keep all the modules or all the package dependencies with the same version to make it compatible with each other. It's best. So if I don't select this install area, it just imports. However, it doesn't change my solution. I also want to install this module. If I don't do that, I can install package one by one by manual, but I want to make it automatic. One of the hardness of the users of ABP framework, sometimes it's a little hard to install a module, because a module has consists of many packages, and your solution has many packages. So when you install a module, actually it should install related NuGet package to your projects in your solution. For example, file management.web is web layer of the file management module. It should be installed to the Easy CRM web application, web project, because in this way, web layer is installed to the web layer. A similar HTTP API layer is installed to HTTP API layer, domain layer to domain layer, and so on. ABP Studio automatically recognizes this and recommends for you. However, if you can change if you want. We can go with defaults safely, no problem. Now the installation has completed. However, we need some minor step before running the application, because the file management module needs to create some database tables. To make it possible, I'm going to do. I want to first build the solution, because I changed project references and too much project references. So it's best to rebuild first. It's like 5 seconds and completed. Now I can go to Entity Framework package, my DB context. This is my DB context that creates the database tables. You see, for all the modules I am using, there is a configure method call, like configure SAS, configure blob storing, and so on. I will add just builder.configure file management. When I add this line, the mapping, like entity to database mapping, has been configured. Now, you know, when we change the DB context configuration, I need to use entity framework commands like add migration or update database. I can also do it from the ABP Studio UI. You see, just 1 minute. You see the package here of our solution. I can right-click the entity framework core package. When I do that, in addition to ABP and .NET CLI, we also see the entity framework core CLI. ABP Studio knows that this is an entity framework project and adds this EF core menu here. So I can add migration by giving a name, edit file management module, for example. Okay, it's added. Now let's see what if it is added. You see, it added a new migration. It just created 2 database tables, which is for directory and files. So I can also right-click and say update database. That's all. Now I can run the application again. Just refresh the page. Okay, it's refreshed. Now I don't see the file management UI because it's there are some new permissions added to the system. So I will go to the admin role permissions. I see the files module here. I can select all the permissions. So now I will have directory and file creation permissions and so on. When I do that, I will see a files menu item here. You see there is a files page comes to our application, just like a native part of our application. Same style, same theme, same design language, and also use the same database and so on. Just to demonstrate it is working, I can upload some files here. That's all. I can create a folder, test folder, for example. I can move an item to the test folder, for example. and so on. This is like simplified version of Google Drive. You can upload files here, download. When you click it, you can download it, and in this way you can have a shared place of files for your team. Just 1 minute. Okay. Now we have successfully installed it, and you see we just added single line of code, and the ABP Studio team actually currently working on to completely automate this process. So in the next version, it will be complete automatic. Just install a module, run, and it is working. Just maybe a few weeks ahead. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay, when we use modules, module code are located in NuGet packets, so we don't have directly access to source code of the file management or identity module, for example. So the one question is how to customize these modules based on my requirements. Actually, from the beginning of the ABP platform, we have provided ways, and we are every day we are improving the system. So there are some documents, so you can follow and learn how to customize it. However, ABP Studio makes it even simplified. Like we can, for example, explore the Identity Pro. First, I want to show the application UI again, because I will make some customization in the user interface, so you see what we have done. For example, while creating a new role, we are using a model. I want to just simply customize this model source code. So I go to Identity Pro module, load details. Now I see the package here. Maybe here is better. You see the web layer has a page folder. When I expand this, I see all the pages here. For example, for the roles, role creation, we are using the create model for the roles. I can right click here and select override. Here I can select some options, but I don't need this. I don't need this yet. Okay, just actually it's completed in under 1 second. What it does, it actually copied the role management, role creation UI part to my solution here. Here it created an identity folder and roles folder under the page, and create model now here. It was not available in my application before, but now it's available. So I can fully customize the user interface based on my requirements. So I can even recreate it from scratch, whatever I want. But I just want to now add a simple alert here to prove that it's just working. I'm adding just a warning message, saving. And now when I return to ABP Studio, I didn't stop the application. Just creating the new role again. You see that now there is such a warning message is added. So whenever I change the user interface, it will be affected immediately here. And also I can customize the C# code, application layer, or override some services and so on. All these are documented. However, I want to just show that how it is simplified in ABP Studio. We are actually working on this part, and in the future, it will provide more options. For now, it especially provides shortcuts for UI part. Okay, but you know, sometimes we may want to just completely customize a module. For example, files page, you know, it basically provides everything for sharing files. However, we may want to improve this, add additional features, completely customize the underlying source code and so on. So we may need to access source code of this module and freely modify for our requirements. That's also possible. When you go to file management, for example, I can right-click the file management module and 1 minute. Okay, file management module and select the, I will show this, replace with source code option. When I do that, it warns me that when you replace source code, when you download its source code and remove NuGet package dependencies, you will not be able to upgrade when we publish a new version. This is a natural result of replacing with the source code. You want that, like you want to get source code, change based on your requirements. Okay, I accept this handicap and continue with the process. It will take a while, but not too long. Okay. Now, in the ABP Studio solution, we have two modules. One is our main module, like main application, main.NET solution, whatever you say. And the second one is file management. Now we can see all the details of file management module, and we can open its source code with Visual Studio. Here, for example, I can see the entities. You see entity, file entity has name, MIME, type, size, and so on. Directory entity, all the application layer. So you can just have the full source code and you can change it. Now I want to make a simple change on the file management UI, but first I want to show what I am doing. I will first build the solution because we have downloaded the source code, but we haven't built yet, and also package references are changed with local project references, and I also need to build it. So you see, when I build the root solution, it builds two different solutions with a single click. If you don't create a script or some special thing, that's not possible. When you build the .NET solution, it builds only that solution. But ABP Studio simplifies also that. Anyway, if I click "Don't show it again," it will not warn me about that. Okay, go to File Management UI again. You see Files page. What I want is simply add some message here, so to prove that my version in the local application, local file system is used for that. For example, I want to add a welcome message to the top of the application. Building the application. I suppose I need to, for the user interface, I need to build the application again. You don't need to build all actually, but for this demo, I don't want to go with details. Okay, I can restart the application, refresh the page, and you will see a warning message added here, like welcome to the file management page. So you see the local file management module source code is used. Now you are free to customize it. Good. We installed the module. We customized the UI without accessing the source code. We accessed full source code of a module and modify it based on our requirements. Okay, now let's create a new module from scratch, like new empty module or a new module template. But before that, I want to create a folder here for the modules to distinguish these modules from my main application. I will also add new folder as main and moving the solution to the main folder. Now I can organize my modules under the file management. It's like .NET or Visual Studio file management, like Solution Explorer. I can have nested folders, of course. Now I can add a module. I have two options. I can start from empty module or DDD module. DDD module we call is actually a module has multiple package, and based on DDD layering, I will create a customers module. It can have different UI, but I will go with MVC UI to be compatible with my solution. It may have a different database system. I will use Entity Framework Core again. That's all. It has created the solution. However, it hasn't installed this module to my application yet. But I want to build it first. And also I will open with Visual Studio to explore the module structure. You see that we have application layer, domain layer, HTTP API, web layer, some installer package to install this module to other ABP Studio solutions and so on. This solution is almost empty. You can start by adding your database entities or entities, application service, and so on. There are some only small example pages, like a customer page from here, for example. We have a customers page and so on. Now I want to install this new module to my main application. It's easy. Just like before, I right-click the main application solution, import module. This time I can see the customer modules here. You see, because we have multiple modules in this solution. I don't see the file management because it's already installed. So I'm selecting the customer. Okay. It has just installed. After this kind of big changes, it's always suggested to build your main solution. Okay, it may take a little time because there are many package references added under the hood. Okay, it completed in 20 seconds. Now I can run the application again. It's pretty fast, you see. Now I can see a customers page here. This page is completely coming from another solution, like an application module. So not a part of the main application. You see, we can easily add modules like that. I want to add a second module, which will be an empty module. This time the name is ordering module. Empty module has nothing, it's just empty. So I cannot even expand it. But I can add new package. When I right-click and select the new package, it offers many options to me. It's like adding a new project, adding a new CS project to a .NET solution, actually. It's very similar. However, it's more specialized for ABP and DDD patterns. For example, I can add a domain layer, add an HTTP API layer, MongoDB integration, MVC UI, and so on. I will start. If you want to follow DDD, you typically add a domain layer, application layer, maybe a kind of entity framework core or some kind of another integration layer. like infrastructure layer, and finally a presentation layer. However, if you want to apply DDD patterns, we already have a DDD module template, so go with that. But sometimes if your solution is complex, you may have multiple domain layers, multiple application layers, or multiple user interfaces. With ABP Studio, you can architect your solution based on your architectural requirements and business idea. So I will just add a domain layer here. I'm leaving all the options as is. Now I have two packages added here. It's two because I selected that I also want a shared package for the domain layer. If I open it, I see it has only depending it to shared package and also domain layer of the ABP framework. I can add a new package like, for example, web layer, MVC UI. And after adding this package, I can arrange dependencies between projects, right-click and add package reference. When I say add package reference, you see I can select another package from this module or imported modules. There is no imported module yet, or from this solution, or from a randomly get package. So I'm just adding the domain layer to the UI layer, which is dangerous and not recommended. But I will use domain entities from the UI, for example. So I just added the project reference. That's all. You can build your solution. You can build your modules like that, install to main application, and so on. Okay, this part is also completed. Until now, we have explained how to install a pre-built application module from the list of modules that is created by the ABP team and also contributed by the community. We have customized the module that we have used. We also replaced a module with the source code, so we can fully customize it. We have seen how to create new modules to our application to create modular monolith solutions. Like we have two templates for these modules, MPT and DDD module. And also after creating modules, we can add package references and arrange dependencies between package modules and other items in the solution. Now in this part, I will show how to develop, run, monitor distributed systems like our microservice solutions with ABP Studio. Okay. I will close the existing solution from File, Close Solution menu item. Okay, it's gone. I can close it. And create a new solution. This time, I will select the microservice solution template and give the Cloud CRM name. Its previous one was Easy CRM. It was a monolith modular application. This time, we are building a cloud application because its name is Cloud CRM. Okay, continue with the database provider selection. Entity framework core here. I want to go with the SQL Server, UI framework as MVC as always. But I best know actually, to be honest. And also I know Blazor, but MVC is more simple for such demos. For mobile framework, I will go with none option again. I want a public website. For the optional modules, you remember we have installed the file management module later. Now I want to include from the beginning. For the UI team, I will again select the light team. And Kubernetes configuration, of course, I want for microservice solution. Okay. Creating this kind of big solution is a little hard, gets more time. It's now installing npm package for the web application. It will make some initial operations. We have to wait this kind of operations. However, while we are waiting, we can explore the solution. Now our solution consists of more than 10 .NET solutions. All these items has separate .NET solutions. We have 3 applications. One of them is authentication server. It's a separate application. A website for our main application, and a public website for our promotion or landing page. This solution template use backend for front-end pattern. So it has 2 gateways for 2 different applications, a public gateway and a web gateway. And it consists of a few services that the count of these services depends on what modules you have installed or selected in the beginning. You see we have administration service. It's basically used to manage settings, permissions of the system. Audit logging, file management, because we have included this module. Identity for user management, and SaaS service for multi-tenancy or tenant management system. Now it still continue to create initial database migrations with just using the entity framework course add migration commands. It's almost finishing. But with this time, for example, I can explore the identity service. You see, identity service consists of 3 projects. Let me open it with Visual Studio. By the way, I can just close other Visual Studio instances to relax my the RAM of my computer. Okay. You see, this identity service is a completely separated .NET solution, like Visual Studio solution, and it consists of 3 projects, sub-projects. The third one is the test project. If you don't write unit tests or integration tests, you can just remove it. However, it contains some examples, so you can easily understand how to write unit tests for your entities, repositories, maybe application service, and so on. We have a contracts package. It's almost empty, but you just define your some localization or permission stuff. Contracts package normally contains interfaces of your application services, and the normal project, like identity service project, is the main application. Actually, it has everything like hosting your application. It can contain your entities, application services, APIs, database migrations and integration, everything included in a single project. That means this microservice template is not layered, because we think a microservice should already be small and should be manageable with a single project. So we didn't want to make it overcomplicated and made the microservice only 2 layers, like interfaces and their implementation. This separation is important because this interface, like contracts, can be shared with other microservices, so they can use your REST APIs with type-safe manner. So it's a different story, but for now, this information is enough. Let's go to, okay, the solution has completely prepared for us. Now I will continue with the solution runner. With the solution runner, we can run all the solutions, we can build all the solutions again, or we can add more applications to the solution runner. First, I want to build all solutions. because it will also get time. This is the new solution, and we haven't built it yet, so it will take a time. While it takes the time, I want to explain these parts. The left part is called as solution runner panel. Here we can have multiple profiles, which the microservice startup templates come with single profile. However, if you want, you can add more profiles. Every profile has a different list of applications and different kind of configuration. For example, you think that you have many teams, and every team work on different set of applications. So they can have their own profiles, and they don't need to run all the applications on the system, or they can configure their like the settings in a different way. They can use different server for Kubernetes, for example. There are also profiles here. I will come there. So here you can organize your applications by folders again. You can create subfolders, add a C# application from the current solution or from your file system. You can add a CLI application by defining, it can be PowerShell, it can be exe or whatever executable, or just a CLI command. You can set start or stop commands and so on. Okay. Here I can run all the system with a single click. However, I want to first run the Docker dependencies, because in first run of the solution, if the Docker dependencies that contains SQL Server, Redis, and some other infrastructure requirements, if that doesn't start in the beginning, other application will fail in the beginning. ABP Studio will restart all the failing applications again. So in eventually, like in maybe 1 minute, all the applications become healthy and working. So no problem on that if you work all together. However, for the first run, the databases are not created yet, and so on. I want to start the Docker dependencies first. When I started, it runs SQL Server in localhost with this port, like 1434, and let me show you. Okay, now I see that I want to be sure that I didn't remain all databases here. You see, there is no databases here yet. I'm going to ABP Studio Solution Runner, click here, or right click, start all. It doesn't matter, it's the same. Okay. When I do that, ABP Studio internally runs all the applications with .NET Run or other CLI commands. And when you see this linked icon, it means the applications is run properly, ready, and also connected to ABP Studio for monitoring data. We will see that we are collecting some monitoring data from the applications. Okay, I can just browse the web application. It has just started. Actually, the application UI is exactly similar as before, because it's using the same ABP modules and so on. You know, ABP modules are compatible for microservice systems also, in addition to monolith modular solutions. So I can just log in to the application. It returns to the main application. It goes to authentication server. You see ports are changing. Now I return to the main application. We have almost okay. We have same UI. We can create roles here. We can set permissions for a role, and so on. When I click an application here, I can stop that application, build and restart, or restart the application. Okay, it's better like that. I can build, if it's running, I cannot build, of course, but normally I can build or restore the application. Browse, I can see HTTP requests, exceptions, logs. I will show you again later. I can open it with Visual Studio or just terminal or like folder system. There is also an option like application properties. It's used to arrange the launch URL, or if this application is deployed to Kubernetes, it also writes the Kubernetes service here. It may be a little complicated now. You can see the documentation for now, but basically your application is related to a service in Kubernetes. In this way, when the Kubernetes service is working, we can collect the monitoring data and visualize the application that's running and so on. If we want, we can select always build before starting this application, or watch changes while running, like the .NET Watch. If I do that, I see two icons comes here. First one is for building without on run, and also the second one is that ABP Studio now watching these changes on the web solution. If we change it, it automatically restarts the application. So build and restarts the application. So we always have the latest version here. I will disable it here for now. Okay, ABP Studio Solution Runner, not only just running and browsing the application, also we designed it to make to help your development. For example, such a complex solution, you are just developing the identity service. We can easily right-click here and select the watch. So when we make changes on identity service, it's restart the application, and we can just stop and restart the identity service without touching other services, like they are already working. We don't have any business with that. Another thing, for example, I want to debug the identity service, for example. ABP Studio is not a debugger, or is not a development like a coding tool. So I can just stop the identity service here, open the identity service in normal Visual Studio Rider or Visual Studio Code. I need to work with without IS Express. IS Express doesn't work with the integration. So you can just select the normal Kestrel working. Anyway, now I can run the application here in debug mode or in just run mode. I'm starting the application in debug mode. You see currently it's not working. Now it's working in Visual Studio, started. Yes, you see the effect here. Now it seems also working in ABP Studio, but as external. When you see the external batch here, it means you started the application with another tool or from console, doesn't matter. However you started the application, it can integrate to ABP Studio, and it can real-time send data. Now we cannot stop here because you should stop it from Visual Studio. In this way, you can just add a breakpoint here, debug your application, build your application, and so on, or hot reload, whatever you like. I don't want to go to details for this session because we are also like maybe more than 1 hour already passed, and we don't have much time. Okay, it's stopped from externally. I can restart from the ABP Studio UI and so on. Okay, let's see the monitoring area. We are building up such a distributed solution, and for example, I call it one. Let's do it. For example, I want to create a new role, which is named editor. So you see we have an error message here. So we could also get different kind of exceptions, and not only this kind of exceptions, maybe like some kind of internal errors. So it's good to have collected this data in real time. ABP Studio does that. In the right side, in addition to browse, we have an overall view. Here we see that all applications are running. Until now, we had more than 100 requests, HTTP requests, some events, and 14 exceptions occurred. In this data grid, we can see all the applications state, uptime, requests, events, received or sent, exceptions, and so on. When I want to see the HTTP request for an application or all applications, I can just select the HTTP request site. Now here I see, for example, lastly I tried to create a role. When I click the details, I see that I got a 403 HTTP status code for this. I can see the all HTTP request headers here, or response headers. I can see the request details. You remember I selected the editor name, made some selections, and the response. The response was role name editor is already taken. There is an error code to programmatically control the error, some kind of additional information, and so on. So you see, we can easily see all the communication between the web application and services, and also inter-services. This request actually made by the web application first, then it is transferred to web gateway, then it's transferred to identity service. We can all see the communication here, and in any state what happened, we can easily understand. These were HTTP requests. We can also see all the events. For example, when I create a role, there is an event occur. The event name here, identity role created event. It's sent by the identity service, and the event data is provided here, and so on. So in this way, this works real time. I can see all the distributed events happened in our solution. It's sent event, received by another application, and so on. I can see all the communication. And also I can see all the exceptions. Here you see, when I click on exception, I can see which application throws that exception, exception type, time, exception level, message, and the most important thing is the stack trace. I can see all the details related to exception. This is very important because when you have tens of services, even the application or service throwing the exception, like determining this is like hard. Which application has thrown this exception? It's not easy to find it. It's not easy to find from logs. And also I can select an application and see raw logs here, and so on. To make it possible, ABP Studio opens a gRPC endpoint on the startup, and all the applications have a client package, and they connect to ABP Studio and sends all the monitoring data, and it's real time. Of course, this is for development. Like in production, you don't have to use this package, and you can just drop it for optimization. Or even if you want, you can use it in your test environment, or like test or prod environments, and you can connect your ABP Studio there to perform debugging or development and so on. Okay, this part also completed. we have created a microservice solution, explored its components. We run all the applications and services, browse the application UI. Okay, actually there were a second application. We didn't browse it. Let's browse it also. Sorry. As I said, it's a public website application, consists of a simple layout and so on. So you can just change it based on your requirements to create your landing page and so on. I can stop the applications. No. I explained how to work with multiple profiles. I did not go deep actually, but I just mentioned there is some feature like that. We have seen using ABP Studio Solution Runner, how it can simplify or debugging, developing this kind of distributed systems. We have seen how to monitor the applications and services by getting HTTP, all HTTP requests, all distributed events, exceptions, and logs in real time. Now, in this part, it's not the last part, but the last big part of this presentation is working with Kubernetes. Previously, we have already made a few talks based on the Kubernetes integration feature of ABP Studio. So you can just scan now here to access that video if you want to fully watch this integration, Kubernetes integration event. Because in this presentation, I will go it briefly. We also can, Furkan, can we put this link to under of a YouTube video so people can easily access to this event also?
Sure thing, I'll be adding.
Thank you. Okay, now the third panel on the left side of ABP Studio is the Kubernetes panel. Here we have Helm and Kubernetes tabs. In the first Helm tab, the ABP Studio shows all the Helm charts that's available for the current solution. These Helm charts, okay, I can right-click these Helm charts, create Docker images from the .NET projects. I can install, uninstall the charts to my Kubernetes cluster. This can work with any Kubernetes cluster. However, for this demo and for local development, we will use Docker Desktop here. I will first start with building Docker images. While this image is building, I will try to explain these charts. This chart is actually located in the solutions folder. I will show as bigger. When you create the microservice solution, you will see such a folder structure. We will have applications, services, gateways, and so on. In the etc folder, we have some ABP Studio configuration, Docker, Helm, and Kubernetes configuration. In the Helm folder, we can open this in Visual Studio Code. Okay, here we see some PowerShell scripts and also Helm charts. In the Helm charts folder, we have like administration service chart, identity service, or Kibana, Grafana, Redis, SQL Server, and so on. All configured not only for local development but also for production. So you can just deploy to your solution, and maybe just a few configuration for your production environment, of course. But it basically ready for production. Every service has like a pod definition, deployment definition, and service definition. Some values here also we have like some helpers. Okay, these are values for local development, like yeah, here. And also we have some scripts to install charts into Helm. I'm showing this kind of files here because I want to say that you can use ABP Studio UI to deploy your application to Kubernetes. However, we know that you cannot use ABP Studio always. Like for example, in your CI/CD pipeline, you want to use some CLI commands to or some scripts to deploy your application. So actually, ABP Studio has nothing related to deployment. All the deployment stuff is done with just PowerShell scripts. So you can just use these PowerShell scripts in your CI/CD pipeline or in your local CLI, local terminal, and ABP Studio also uses them. That means when you change this PowerShell scripts, it will be also valid for ABP Studio. That's a good because there is no duplication. Okay, all the Helm charts Docker image already built and it's ready for deployment. I want to first show that with the kubectl command, there is no resources found in the Cloud CRM local namespace yet. Now I will right-click charts and install charts with that command. When I say that, like right-click and install chart, it calls the PowerShell script. So you can also create additional PowerShell scripts and add additional commands here based on your custom requirements. That means this area is extensible. Now, if I run the command again, I see that many replica set deployment services are deployed to Kubernetes now. Since it is first run, it made like maybe 30 seconds for being fully ready, because every service on startup creates their own SQL Server database or migrate if needed and so on. In maximum 1 minute, everything will be ready. It seems actually already we can try our chance. Now, you know, in Solution Runner, nothing running. However, in Kubernetes, everything running. So we can just connect the Kubernetes from the ABP Studio. When I connect that, of course, there are some configuration in this for this solution, and it already comes with the startup template, and you can customize based on your requirements. However, when I click the connect button, it makes a VPN tunnel between your local environment and Kubernetes server. I will just wait a little. Once it connects, all the services, even internal services like Redis or RabbitMQ or SQL Server, are available to our local environment. That's perfect thing, because otherwise it is not easy to access internal services. For example, I can connect the Cloud CRM local SQL Server. This is the internal service name of the SQL Server in Kubernetes cluster. However, I can just connect just like it is working in my own computer. So in the databases section, I can see every SQL, every microservice has its own database they have created and so on. It's ready for usage. Okay. Now I can right-click the web application here and select Browse. When I do that, ABP Studio can browse the application that is running inside Kubernetes cluster. I can just log in the application again, just like before. Okay, it's ready. First run takes a little bit time, but finally it works. I'm creating a new role and so on. Now I can see HTTP requests that is executed inside the Kubernetes cluster. I can collect all the data, all the events, all the exceptions, logs, whatever I want. For example, for the identity service, I can see the role creation event again for the moderator role. That's automatically published by the identity module, and so on. So I can just check, for example, this audit logging service gets an exception while connecting to RabbitMQ. This can be possible. Maybe RabbitMQ service started later, but it tries reconnect and finally retry it. So we can get some kind of startup exceptions. For example, it didn't find the database on first run, and when the database is ready, it can connect and so on. This is a distributed application, and this type of temporary exceptions are normal. Okay. We connected to Kubernetes. We could access internal services, even SQL Server. We can browse the application UI, just it's running in our local computer. And if you want to develop a service, for example, we can go to, if you go to Solution Runner, you see all the services are connected here as an external service. So it is well integrated. For example, if we want to make development on the identity service, I can just enable interception for identity service, then start my identity service from local environment. In this way, I can test my development, debug my services, and so on. It's well integrated. I will not make demo for that, because of the time limitation. However, you can just check the link and go to the Kubernetes integrated development video. You can see the details. If I do the interception, then I can also redeploy the application. When I finish my development, I can just redeploy it, and that it's in the live. That's all. Now I will disconnect from the Kubernetes cluster. When I do that, I will no longer access to SQL Server database and also internal services. However, I can still browse the application UI, because this application UI, web UI, is exposed to outside of the cluster. Otherwise, your users cannot use the application, right? So I can still browse the application because it's still working in Kubernetes while we are not connected. It's still possible. Okay, continue with the presentation. We have seen how to view and manage our Helm charts. We have seen creating Docker images, building solution, installing Helm charts, connecting to a Kubernetes cluster, and accessing to internal services. We can browse the application UI, collect the monitoring data from Kubernetes cluster. We didn't make a demo, but I just showed the user interface for intercepting and redeploying services. Okay, we came to the funny part. We are getting too many comments about ABP Studio. Many developers already using it and like it. Thank you, all the community. We are very happy to see that kind of interest on ABP Studio. But we are also getting sometimes some comments about if ABP Studio is an alternative to .NET Aspire, or what are the similarities or differences between .NET Aspire. You know, Microsoft team, actually, you know, as I explained it before, the application requirements or application structure are changed very much in the last years, like microservice and modular monolith solutions, and everyone trying to find some solutions to this kind of problems. especially for distributed solutions, it's not easy to make a comfortable development environment for a microservice solution. We have seen this problem many years ago and started ABP Studio development 3 years ago, but also we were thinking about that for a long time. Microsoft guys are also smart, and they are also trying to find solution to this kind of problems. So they tried a solution with project-i, as you all know, but this project is retried and replaced by .NET Aspire. .NET Aspire's main purpose is to make a comfortable development environment for distributed solutions, so you can easily run all the solutions, connect to each other, and so on. However, ABP Studio solution purpose is not only that. Of course, it's one of the purposes, but ABP Studio has much more features. Now I want to compare feature by feature with ABP Studio and .NET Aspire. Maybe you want to check 30 seconds before my explanation. Okay, let's start from the integration package. .NET Aspire basically provides an orchestration application that brings all the applications together and run within a single application host. And also it provides some integration package to make this execution and configuration possible. ABP also, with ABP Studio, with actually ABP framework also has some integration package. So you may think they are similar, because ABP framework has Dapper, Redis, RabbitMQ, or MongoDB package, and you will see this kind of package with .NET Aspire too. However, they are completely different actually. For example, ABP framework's MongoDB integration is integrating MongoDB with repository pattern and with your entities, with your solution source code. .NET Aspire, on the other hand, it makes integration only for running MongoDB server container that is accessible to your service. So their purpose is completely different. And also, for some abstractions, ABP's framework provides very rich and well-integrated abstractions, just like this MongoDB example. On the other hand, .NET Aspire provides very simple abstractions and integrations just to make it working together. However, it doesn't provide too much programming API for your application development. For the startup templates, .NET Aspire has some startup templates, just very simple, minimal. It's configured for local development environment. However, it's not for production usage. They are already documenting that. So, for example, when you create a .NET Aspire application, you can just run the host application and it works. However, you cannot individually run the applications, because no configuration other than local development purposes. So it's far away from a real-world solution. On the other hand, ABP Studio provides really advanced architectural options, includes Kubernetes configuration, production-ready startup template, and also provides many pre-built application modules, well integrated. It's actually ready to deploy to production in every manner, in security, in configuration, optimization. Everything is included. So startup templates, ABP Studio or ABP has like far away ahead of .NET Aspire. .NET Aspire templates just simple C# starter templates actually. It makes their purpose well. However, their purpose is not ABP's purpose. On the monitoring side, .NET Aspire is good actually. It easily integrates and real-time collects metrics like OpenTelemetry traces and even application logs from console. So its dashboard is good. Maybe the most useful feature of .NET Aspire is its dashboard. On the other hand, ABP Studio's dashboard, actually you have already seen much more rich feature. It can collect real-time HTTP requests, distributed events, exceptions, and also logs as similar to .NET Aspire. Currently, we don't collect metrics and traces, but it is on our roadmap, and in a short time, you will see on the ABP Studio monitoring area. For the application runner side, you see ABP Studio has a really strong application running system. .NET Aspire also can run multiple applications together. However, it runs just all applications together in one run. That means after running, for example, 20 applications, you want to make development or debug or one of the applications, you cannot just stop it and open in another IDE and make debugging. This is one of the important missing features, and also it doesn't provide any UI to stop individual services and so on. In application runner of ABP Studio, you can just start, stop, build, do everything with single or multiple or a group of services. So it has much more functionalities for real world scenarios. These are like intersection features, but ABP Studio has much more, like architecting, building modular solutions is possible with ABP Studio. However, .NET Aspire's purpose is not that, and it will not be possible in the future too, because it's not their business. Kubernetes, tunneling, building modular solutions, and many more features we have seen and you didn't see are available with ABP Studio, which are not purpose of .NET Aspire. .NET Aspire's purpose is actually finishing here. They may probably improve this area more. Not startup templates, but especially monitoring and solution runner. They are working this kind of things, and also more configuration integration packets. However, ABP Studio, we are providing many more useful features in the future. Okay, this was the maybe final comparison for me. As I said, we will build many more features in the future. The first feature, major feature in our roadmap is a kind of team builder for Lepton-X. You know, when you create a new solution, you have a responsive modern UI team for your application, so you don't need to worry about this. However, you want to probably customize it. Currently, of course, customization is possible, and customization system is very strong using like CSS or Sass variables. However, in ABP Studio, you will have a user interface to easily customize and see the results of your team. Again, customizing reused application modules is one of the things we will be working on. From the first days, we created the module installation system as extensible. In the future, you will see that you can create internal or public module stores. So you just NuGet sources, multiple NuGet sources. You can have your own module source, or we may have even public module markets. So you can install modules from there. We will provide more deployment options in addition to Kubernetes, maybe some other deployment options and so on. One of the things we really want to do is to analyze your solution and provide some best practice suggestions, especially for, we are providing some guidance for implementing best practices for DDD-based development. So we can analyze your solution and provide some best practice suggestions for your code. And one of the major or maybe most interesting features is we are planning to create such kind of rapid application development system, like you building applications with wizards or with maybe completely automated and so on. I cannot share too much information for now, but currently know that we are aware of like your request on that, and we will be working on it. If you want any feature to see on ABP Studio, please send an email to info@abp.io. Of course, we cannot promise for all requests, but we will do best to provide you a perfect development environment for this kind of complex solutions. Let's go for licensing. ABP Studio has currently has community edition, which is completely free. It's not, it's free, and however, it has some limitations. If you are building a very large solution with many applications, like in microservice solutions, we suggest to go with team business or enterprise licenses. However, if you are building personal project, it's perfectly enough to go with the open source version. Now we also have some 20% discount. It is in the last 2 days. So if you want to buy, hurry up. You can take it. Just 1 minute. Okay. Let's mention about the next events. We want to definitely create an event or workshop for modular monolith application development and also microservice application development with the microservice startup template. We have more ideas, but they are not very clear, so I didn't write here yet. Before going to questions, I will show a bonus to you. I just forgot to mention about you can easily add new microservices here. When you click, for example, services folder here, you can, not Solution Explorer. You can add new module. Before you, just 1 minute. You have seen we could add empty module or DDD module. However, if this is a microservice solution, ABP Studio understands it and suggests to add new microservices, new gateways, or new web applications. Let's add a new microservice here. For example, a kind of cloud CRM just product service. Okay, product service. We can select MongoDB or Entity Framework Core as database and so on. You see a product service is added here. Just as like other services, includes 3 projects inside it, has some imports for permission, feature, or setting management, so you can use this kind of systems inside your solution, inside your service. It's pre-configured. After creating that, there are probably some maybe manual steps. You may want to add this to gateway or to reference to the web application. It's all documented. You can just check its documentation. Microservice startup template is a really great documentation. We worked on that too much, so you can just check the documentation. But the bonus was not that. I will close the solution and open the Easy CRM solution again. As I said in the beginning, ABP Studio has an integration with ABP Suite. So we have created a solution, we have created our architecture, and finally we will go to a code editor and write some application code. Most of the application UI are just some kind of crude pace, like creating some entities, making relation to another entity, deleting, editing, and so on. ABP Suite is a tool for that purpose, and it is now integrated with ABP Studio. You can just use the ABP Suite open option. We are selecting the main application because we want to generate code here. Now here we can create entities easily, like, for example, I want to create a product entity. I suppose it's usable, right? Product entity. I cannot use. Okay, I will create a product entity with some properties. I will add some properties. My entity will have a name, like a product name, minimum 1 length or minimum 2 length, okay. I will have another property, name it description. It's string, and also, it's also not text box, but text area I want. It can be optional, okay. I will create a release date property for my product. I can select date time, but actually this time date only is enough because we don't need to time for a product release date. It can be nullable because maybe the product hasn't released it yet. When I add date only or time only, it warns me because it's only possible with .NET 8. Okay, I'm using .NET 8, no problem. I will add another property like a photograph, for example, for the product. It's a kind of file. It can be also nullable. I will add a stock count, like an integer. Default value can be 0. Maximum value can be this kind of value, and so on. Oh, both, okay, minimum 0. So we cannot enter negative numbers. And a checkbox, like is active or not. A boolean, and so on. I have created an entity with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fields. I can add navigation properties to other entities, make relations, make master-child tables. There are actually many more. We have already made some events based on ABP Suite, and we can make in the future. However, I just want to show that how we can create code that is integrated with ABP Studio. It takes a little time because it creates code and also uses entity framework, database migration tooling to create and prepare your database. So it will be fully runnable. Now migrating to database. All the source code added to your solution. If you open this solution on your IDE, you will see, for example, the product entity in the domain layer. Just in the domain layer, we can see product entity that is new created, an application service in the application layer, and so on. All the code are created in the corresponding layers. Okay, we can close the ABP Suite or just we can leave open, no problem. We can go to the application and just run it. Now I will browse the application. Log into the application because it requires some permission. Now we have a products page. It's completely created by the ABP Studio from scratch. We can just create a new product, for example, like Apple iPhone Pro Max 42, next level device. Release date can be in many years later. We can upload a photo because we have selected file upload. Stock count, okay, it's active, and so on. You see how it works. We can edit a product or just delete it. We can filter based on our needs and export the Excel for now. As I said, we can create other entities. We can create relations between the entities, like one-to-one, one-to-many relations, and so on. So you can also check the ABP Suite documentation to understand its features. I can stop the application. And finished. All I want to talk about was that. I know it was longer than our normal community talks, but we had too many things to talk with this new product because we are very excited, and I want to talk more actually. But I don't want to go also deep for every feature. Thank you for everyone for listening. Now we can take questions if you have. I didn't check if there was questions, but I see more than 100 comments already made. Okay, there are 18 questions selected. Thank you, Furkan. I will check one by one. I think we can go to this layout, stop sharing. One question for the new features in ABP Studio, like Kubernetes integration, old personal license holders, can we get an arrangement for that specific feature? I don't remember. Probably, yeah. If you contact with the market, like sales team, we can discuss this because it's like for sales. If you want to upgrade your license, or if you want to use this feature with your personal license, you can discuss with the sales team. ABP Studio to monitor process, what TCP ports does it use? Anyone remember?
Yeah, ABP Studio doesn't track logs from.
No. It opens a TCP port and listens. He says what TCP port. Do you remember? I don't remember actually.
But it's configurable. If it
configures actually.
port, you can change it.
No, it's not configurable, by the way. It's 30. Yeah, it's 38,271. It's completely different.
Okay, it was not important, but okay. I have already explained our major roadmap. For the fixes, actually, we didn't make it public, but in the future we may think about it. For now, we don't need it. When I need to upgrade from one version of ABP to the next, I usually create a new solution and compare it. I just don't update the package. Can ABP Studio help me? Good question. I think good feature request. Can you take note, Berkan, for that?
Yes, we can consider.
Okay. Is override pages are available for community version? Emre, do you remember?
Yeah, yes, they are.
Yeah, it should be available. We didn't have such a restriction. Can you give an example of how to override the login page for ABP Studio? Actually, it was simple this time because you could just open the account module, find the related page, right-click and override. It was already possible. You can just check if you have a problem. Write to GitHub issues, please. If you use source code of a module to customize it, how to handle the version upgrade? First of all, you don't have, you cannot upgrade, of course. When we create a new version as NuGet package, you cannot upgrade it because you don't have NuGet package reference. However, it is not a problem. you can just upgrade other packets and it will work as compatible. You cannot get upgrade of this specific module, but you can continue to upgrade other modules and the framework. So this is just a like trade-off. When we create a new project with CLI, how can we first turn off the database operations? With CLI, there is an options, name it skip DB migrations or something like that. It's written in the documentation, I believe. Emre, can you take note for that? If it's not written in the documentation, we can add.
Yes.
We have
we will edit.
Okay, but for ABP Studio UI, you can easily control it without with using UI. For CLI, it's possible, but I'm not sure it's documented because it's kind of new CLI, ABP Studio CLI. Okay, it's continuation. Add module is available for community version with same options of commercial. Add module is available, yes. However, of course, you can only install free modules. For commercial modules, you need to have commercial license, but the add module or installing module commands are available for both. Why we have HTTP API project with the DDD module template? Why not? I don't know. When you create HTTP API controllers, we suggest to create in a separate project. That's all. Maybe I don't understand the point.
Yeah, if he wants a single project, he can go with app no layers template.
Yeah. Actually, maybe he means HTTP API is not a layer of DDD. Of course, it's not a layer, but it's an additional thing. Maybe DDD didn't consider this, but it can be a different project. I don't understand the point exactly. How to extend identity user class, extend but not virtual collection or like. I'm not sure we have created an article about that. Maybe Berkan take note about that. We can create an article to demonstrate it.
Okay.
After customize the page, how to maintain it with an version? No, it's not possible. If you just copy it source code of a page to your own project, that means you need to make some major change, like maybe completely change it and so on. So when a new version comes out, you can download it as source code, just copy to your solution or merge somehow. You can do it manually. However, ABP Studio doesn't override it anymore. It's not a good idea because your change will be lost. But you don't have to do that because it is already what you want. There are questions. Some people think that they should always get the latest version of every module. So the downloading source code's purpose is not that. It is for like you will make completely different or completely extended version of this module. So you are just getting this as a base. Of course, your solution will be just a different branch, and it's not easily possible to upgrade. It's only possible to merge, and you can use some tools to merge it, but we have not a system for that. If you have existing solution, you can use Studio to load all from current situation. Enis, maybe you can say about initializing the existing solution.
Yeah, you can initialize.
Do you remember?
You can initialize your existing solutions. You can create new ABP SLM file from your previous templates. You can migrate it. You can initialize. You can just click File menu and initialize solution. It will be automatically converted to ABP solution.
Yeah, there is an initialize command in Studio file menu. Can you check the file menu?
Maybe I can share my screen and show it.
That makes sense.
In the ABP Studio, on the file menu, you can easily find the initialize existing solution. When you click that, it looks for a solution file, solution folder. You can select it and initialize based on ABP Studio configuration. Okay, I will stop the screen share. ABP Studio looks promising. Is it available for all tiers of commercial? Actually, it's even available for free. ENDS for all tiers of commercial, but there are some minor or maybe major feature differences. In team license, for example, Kubernetes integration feature is not available because we believe Kubernetes integration is a like microservice development feature, and if you are using microservice, you should be a big company, have a large team, and you can just get a business or enterprise license. So there are some feature differences. However, it's available for all tiers. I already have a big application with the earlier version of Studio. Try with the latest version. Maybe there were some problems, and file an issue on the main ABP GitHub repository if you have a problem. The last community post section is great. I like our Studio as a source of information. Could it be possible to add a blog post search there? Good idea, actually. I don't know why we didn't it. Sometimes when we developing it, we cannot see such details. Can you please note for that, Berkan? We can also show at least the latest 2 or 3 blog posts on the ABP Studio, because we are releasing new versions and people want to know about it, how to create applications with the new version and so on. Yes, for Linux, it's on the plan. Actually, we have started to make it cross-platform in the beginning, and in the first days, it was working with Linux, but when we add more features, it become harder to maintain in 3 platforms. And now we see that Linux is not used in .NET developers too much. So in the future, we will work on that. I suppose all the questions end here. It was a very long, like 2 hours session, but I see that there is a good interest interest among the developers.
Also, there's a good question. There's another good question who asks AI tool in integration with ABP Studio. Ruslan asks, yeah.
I think maybe the AI chatbot can be added then create the entities. Good point, but don't expect in a short time. But we are making research on AI, but currently we don't know too much things. We don't know how to make it possible. It's not our expertise for now, I can say. But in the future, we also want that.